All right, guys, it's Neon. I'm here with Geeky Sparkles.
Hello.
And we're back with CLOWNFISH TV. Of course, we're going to talk about She-Ra because that's all we ever talked about in this channel.
Yeah, I know. Actually, after this, we'll try to be good for a few days and do other things. I mean, there are other things in the world besides She-Ra, as hard as that is for me to believe.
There's nothing in this world apart from She-Ra.
No, that's not true.
Yeah, we are going to talk about She-Ra. There's been some new videos up with interviews with Noelle Stevenson, an article on IO9, and we're going to talk about that. Now, real quick before we do that, I'm gonna give you guys a shill. No, actually, we've had people ask about. Well, we got two things. People asked us about buying books. We have a handful of books left.
Yeah, literally a handful.
If you go to shopgeeky.net, that's shopgeeky.net.
And it's not actually named after me.
No, it's a long story, but this is actually our it's our store. It's sort of been on autopilot for many months. But we did put the books in there. We've only got like 7 or 8 copies left, and that is it. That is the end of this print run. We're hoping to get some more printed in the very near future. And I'm also going to open up commissions. People asked about that. I don't have a lot of time to do them, but I can open up a couple slots. And we started a Patreon. People asked about supporting the channel directly. If you're interested in that, you can go to patreon.com/clownfish TV. And yeah, so we'll get that out of the way because we don't want to shill the whole time we're on, right?
Right.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm gonna want to talk about this. So
yeah, okay. So this is they changed their page layout.
Okay, so I was looking for stuff today, and I came across this lovely piece of I don't know what to call
journalism.
Yeah,
quote unquote.
Sure, journalism.
Quote unquote journalism.
So She-Ra and the Princesses of Power will explore the true meanings of leadership and strength. You know, because we never had those explored before.
Never.
Till now.
That has never happened. Ever.
Now we're exploring what it truly means to be a leader and what strength truly means, because, you know, women have never talked about that prior to this.
Women just they're not good at leading.
Apparently not. I mean, there apparently have done no female leadership, and it's not. I'm not gonna pin this one on the showrunner for She-Ra. I've heard this lots of places that if suddenly it seems like only in the last year or two when these new people showed up, the narrative has been that women have been kept down forever, and there's not been strong female leadership ever until now.
Yeah,
which is total bullshit.
Just until 2018 is the year that everybody decided now was the time for women to be in comics and animation.
Because they haven't been before.
Never happened before. I mean, granted, there aren't as many women as there could be, but to say that it's not happened is very bull.
So here's the story. So Princess Adora will soon be bounding her way back into the spotlight when Netflix's She-Ra reboot drops next month. But according to showrunner Noelle Stevenson, this new take on the heroine's journey is going to be somewhat different from her adventures in the original series.
Somewhat.
Yeah, well, I'm looking at what she says is different about it, and that's not different. Much like the 80s classic She-Ra and the Princess of Power will tell the story of how Dora discovers she's a long-lost princess who, wielding the sword of protection, is able to transform into a magical warrior known as She-Ra. At this year's New York Comic Con, though, Stevenson explained how this incarnation of She-Ra's story will instead focus on how she teams up with her best friends, Glimmer and Bow, as they set out to build a kind of coalition of princesses whose collective powers might be enough to save the world of Etheria. You mean like, when everybody's special, no one is?
It's kind of like, how the schools now, they sort of team all the kids up.
Which I'm not 100% against.
Yeah.
I mean, as a teacher and as a parent, I think people need to learn cooperation. I think working as a group is a very powerful thing. But I also... This whole groupthink thing, it also leads to groupthink.
Okay, so this is a quote from Stevenson.
This is where okay. So the original She-Ra had it as well. Oh yeah, okay. But our show is much more deliberately focusing on the teamwork aspect. Okay.
You can do it.
Obviously, a lot of the show revolves around Adora's journey with Bow, Glimmer, and Catra as well. But it's also about how the larger cast of characters comes together. What's great about them is that when you have so many opportunities to showcase female characters, no one has to be the girl.
Because it's bad.
Because even
no one has to be the girl.
Even like that's a bad thing. Being the girl is a bad thing. Just like and then they put in this princess coalition, Seahawk, who used flipping Grizzlor as a human shield.
I know.
In one of the episodes of She-Ra, when he was saving Adora, is now running around with his arms flapping in the air. You have Bow with a crown of flowers.
So what little masculinity we actually had in Shira, we had to smack that down.
Yeah, you can't have that. You can't smack that dick down. You can't have it. on many reasons, on many levels.
Slap that dick.
You're not allowed to have it on many reasons because you're
spank it fiercely.
No, that's the problem. She-Ra has to change because the only people who don't like the new one are the straight white guys who want to whack off to it. Even though I think this one's going to have a lot of women who flick the bean too, but that doesn't fit the narrative. Okay, so he's dying over here.
Sorry.
Okay, so where were we at? Because of Adora's history with the evil horde, Glimmer is somewhat apprehensive about whether or not she can trust it. Understandable, and also that makes sense. But in time, Adora is able to prove herself to be a woman of her word. Well, nothing like ruining it. Who firmly believes that defending those threatened by the horde is the right thing to do. It's Adora's conviction and her desire to do right by the people depending on her that makes her powerful. Because, original She-Ra didn't have that. Something Stevenson wanted to be a recurring theme running throughout the show. What?
Okay, I'm gonna stop right there. We got, super chat, thank you. Did not have to do that. Female comics writers are the real heroes except for those guys who lose their legs in Afghanistan. But women get creepy DMs, men don't know fear.
And they're being sarcastic.
Yeah. Okay, so let's go back to another quote from Noelle Stevenson.
Okay. Power is something you work towards, power is something you work toward.
Yes.
And for her, yes, it's so much less about the prestige and control of power. It's about the sacrifice and cost of power. Because the original She-Ra was a power-hungry bitch who just, because when you have boobs, that obviously makes you power-hungry. And that's all she did. If you have a character who's all about power and prestige and control of power, they're most likely not the hero of your story. I'm just saying. But so the new She-Ra is not about prestige and control of power like the old She-Ra. It's about sacrifice and the cost of power.
Disingenuous marketing.
Okay. So in so many ways, the show is about female leadership, new female leadership especially, women stepping into roles they didn't previously occupy and trying to figure out how to lead as best they can. Because, prior to her, women have not been in positions of leadership in animation or comics.
Never.
But before you go click on those, let me finish this because we got to see where she's coming from. New female leadership, especially women stepping into roles they didn't previously occupy. It's all about her, guys. A surprise. Between Adora, Glimmer, and Catra, they show 3 different ways of approaching that, and I see parts of myself in all of them that way. Of course you do, because this is all about you. I was 24 when I got the job, and when you go from being 24. If you're good to do, there's people that are 24 that deserve it.
Yeah, I know, but
I'm not saying this is one of them. But
well, no, I'm just saying it's okay. Go ahead.
I was 24 when I got the job, and you go from being like, I have a great idea to, I have to lead a team and bring out the best in them, which is valid. And it's not enough for me to just have a great idea. I need to be a good leader. Also true. It wasn't something I was consciously doing, but in a lot of ways, I feel like those ideas have gotten into the show because because of me. I mean the people, because so many of the people who work on the show are women, and a lot of the women in positions of leadership are doing this job for the first time. This is why I'm mad.
Okay, so let me translate.
She has some valid points, but
okay,
but
the
narcissism just doesn't rest.
Yeah, okay, so basically, She-Ra is her experience. Having
all the Adora, Glimmer, and Catra are all her experience.
Having this job handed to her at a very, very young age, be a showrunner at 24.
With no experience to warrant a
crazy
showrunning.
Young. She worked in comics kind of before. She did a couple of graphic novels.
She wrote a
couple episodes
on a team.
She did,
and the same, and like Lumberjanes was part of a team also.
Yeah.
She didn't develop it; it was part of a team. So you're gonna read this. The original She-Ra. Yeah, power to boobs. That's probably why she doesn't power now, because you have to earn it now.
Oh my god. But again, thank you, Custom Song Maker, for the super chat. Yeah. So what I'm getting from and it's basically like, and there's a whole bunch of people who have never done this before. It's me and a whole bunch of people who have never done this before, but we're doing it for the first time, and I don't really think that's true.
We will be doing a shirt, and I agree with you. I will add that to the list. Thanks. You do not need to do that. It would be a good shirt. I'm adding that to the list. I have a list.
Well, no, I don't want to.
No one thinks you're making them.
No,
you're not holding a gun to their head and saying, "Hey, give me money."
No, I don't want to be like these people that are like, "Oh my God, go my GoFundMes, or I'm gonna lose my."
So as a person who puts his Patreon up at the beginning.
People were asking if we had one. I made one. There we go. So
anyway, women can finally lead. I know, right? Because women never led before. I still love this. I feel like those ideas have gotten into the show because because of me. I mean, so many people working on the show are women, and a lot of the women in positions of leadership are doing this job for the first time.
Okay, so I just want to, with my stupid man brain, I'm going to go out.
Sorry.
Here And we're gonna have a parade of just a handful, just a handful of women who have actually done this before.
There's many, many more.
Oh, look, it's Jeanette Kahn, who ran DC for quite some time, and during its heyday, actually, she did pretty well. A woman, I'm pretty sure she's a woman. She was running DC during the sort of the halcyon days.
Oh, look, she's in the Library of Congress, Living Legends.
She's a living legend, running DC Comics for years. For like 25 years.
But wait, I thought women didn't do anything until now. Women are just now in leadership.
Women have never been in charge. They've never been in charge.
Stop ruining my narrative, you man.
Okay, so
how dare you?
We got to talk a little bit about Jeanette Kahn because Geeky, and I think we brought this up before, and for those of you who are new and haven't heard the story, a few years ago, Geeky was actually invited as part of like a roundtable discussion on women in comics. It was like we had to
submit the answers for an article.
Yeah, and there were several. There were what, 5 or 6?
There were several people they asked who had to answer these questions. And now this was for a magazine article. I forget where it was at. But actually, I was the only person in the group of women they talked to that actually had pro credit working in comics. I'm going to start with that.
Yeah.
Only one that had the credit. And they asked all these people, mostly people who had their own web comics and things, the same questions. And basically, they were clearly. They were trying to get you to say men were running everything and women didn't have a choice.
Right.
They were clearly, they were directing the narrative very clearly. And I wouldn't do it because I said, I think as far as Marvel and DC go, I will say women are often not given the opportunities until recently. We're given as much the opportunities as other places. That did happen. But I said, if you can't go by that, because most publishers have a lot of women working there, including DC, and them had like Jeanette Kahn and stuff. A lot of women have been in power. I was the only person who wasn't included in that article because I refused to give them the answers they wanted, and I was the only one with pro credit.
Yeah, they cut Geeky out of the article because she wouldn't play to the narrative that women were like being blacklisted from comics, blocked from comics. Now, as far as Marvel and DC goes, I think it just comes down to like what women were reading. I think maybe there weren't as many women working in Marvel and DC because they weren't reading
I don't know.
Superhero comics.
But I
don't know.
That you can't argue that for a while women were kept out. And then now it's gone completely the other way and it's gone batshit crazy. But yeah, so anyway, who's the other people? Go ahead, sorry.
Oh, DCV Titan, thank you. So women get the leadership position, then have to learn how to lead. Way to explain unearned privilege.
Pretty much. I mean, I'm not going to be a jerk. If you look at the resume of the showrunner, she hasn't done much of anything. Nothing that would indicate she should get to be a whole executive producer on a show.
Yeah, so let's see here. Margaret Loesch, now, she came up today again because The Toys That Made Us is doing... I
know, I love them.
Yeah,
if you haven't watched The Toys That Made Us, go watch it. It's so good.
Phenomenal. She was in charge of Marvel Productions. She was the president and chief executive officer during their heyday when they were doing Transformers and Muppet Babies and G.I. Joe and all that stuff. She was in charge.
Oh, you mean the things that were for men?
For boys,
she ran?
She ran all of Fox Kids from the 90s until 97 during its heyday when they did she bought Margaret Loesch is responsible for the X-Men TV show, the well-regarded classic X-Men TV show. This woman in leadership right here was responsible for it, as well as Power Rangers. She brought in the Power Rangers. She hasn't done anything. I guess she was just working in the ink and paint department.
Because you know what? And she was hired as a Hub Network CEO position. So
and she's still in charge.
Was good.
She's still in charge.
And because women,
she's in charge of Genius Brands.
Women are just now getting positions of leadership. It's good to know that. And I'm not, like I said, I'm not going to blame it just on the showrunner here. I'm hearing this many places, and I'm like, what? What the hell? Just do a flipping Google search. You'll find that is not true. I don't know where they're getting this because it fits their narrative, I guess.
Yeah, because she is actually one of the most powerful people in American animation.
And then I love her.
Probably the most successful manga artist of all time, one of the most successful cartoonists in the world, Rumiko Takahashi, Inuyasha, Ranma.
I love Inuyasha, it's my favorite.
She is freaking rich beyond rich. I mean, she is incredibly wealthy, and she's been rocking it since the 70s. But there
was no women in power in the 70s.
There are
it's
no women
only
in
been
charge.
Now that women are in power.
Yeah,
leadership for women is only the Queen of England. I'm like this whole. I know Inuyasha is like my favorite thing. I love Inuyasha. If you like Inuyasha, you'll like our comic because I take a lot of inspiration. I love Inuyasha.
Sailor Moon was created by a man. Don't believe the lies. These are just a handful of examples.
Yeah, we can come up with many more. These are the first 3. Oh yeah, Raina Telgemeier. Okay, so now they sort of praise Noelle Stevenson as being like, look at this, a young woman making comics and selling them.
Raina Telgemeier had you beat by about a decade. Raina Telgemeier is probably the best-selling American graphic novelist. I'm not talking about the trade publications like Watchmen, but
she actually stayed on the New York Times bestseller list for like years, as opposed to a couple weeks while your publishing house bought your books to fake numbers.
Whoopsie!
Oh, I did I just say that?
You didn't know that inside baseball geeky.
Oh, what am I talking about?
But yeah, Raina Telgemeier has sold a shit ton of books. She has been on the New York Times. Well, when they had New York Times bestseller, she's got millions.
Well, they do still, but I mean, when it was graphic novels only, she was on there. She had like almost every spot on the New York Times graphic novel seller list, whether it be her own books or her doing work on other books. She held most of the spots for years. But this whole narrative that women are just not empowered. I can tell you for a fact, most of the agents for graphic novels and comics and things are women. I can think of one guy, and we weren't going to talk about this, but he should not be named. There a lot of the authors and stuff that are out there in young adult literature and things are female. Not just Raina Telgemeier. There's a bunch.
Raina Telgemeier's agent, who is also Will Eisner's agent, one of the most powerful women in comics. The editors at a lot of these publishing houses are women. Not Marvel DC, but the publishing
they are
houses.
Mostly women. We've talked to pretty much all of them, and I can't think of one. Is there an editor? I can't think. Most of them are women. I can't think. We talked to almost all women. I think there might have been one dude. The rest were all women.
For what, agents or
the editors that we talked to. There was a guy, one guy. I think at Scholastic, wasn't there? There's a guy in
There's
girl.
one. There
we
are
always talk
multiple
to her.
editors at Scholastic. Yeah. And we usually talked to Raina Telgemeier's editor before, which is a woman.
Yeah.
And she's,
imagine that. I'm just like, there's a lot of women. So this whole idea, this is why I'm angry. This whole idea that women are just now being in positions of leadership and power is so disingenuous. It makes me want to scream, because I'm so tired of hearing this, and you keep hearing it, and it's a bunch of bullshit, and it makes me angry. Yeah. It angers me greatly. I think this actually angers me more than She-Ra angers me, because it's like, I'm so tired of hearing that women, women throughout history, women are not in power. There have been so many powerful women. I can't even, the list, we could go on and on and on of a list. And I'm not talking just in entertainment. I'm talking just in politics. I'm talking in, leading countries. It's not a new thing.
No, but you think it's a new thing. I mean, I'm not saying that there isn't room for more women. There absolutely is room for more
that's not
women.
what we're saying. But the whole idea that women aren't there is bullcrap. Go back to the IO9 again.
But when you have a newbie, she's like 26. You have somebody else, coming in as new, and it's all like, oh my god, like, I'm the first person to ever do this.
But like, look what you're saying. It's like, it's something you work towards. It's much less about the prestige and control, but the sacrifice and the cost of power. I'm like, because they want to be a recurring theme in the news show. Like, they're basically implying that the old She-Ra, didn't have to know about sacrifice, didn't have to earn her power, and that is not true at all. And then it's like, again, do I mention how it's about me? They mention about me. It's my OC, my OCs. Apparently, it's plural OCs.
And that extends to, there were some other videos that were done.
We could, and Glimmer must have been the one that was based on her Dungeons and Dragons, because I think they come out that Glimmer is the one who teleports.
She teleports.
So I'm assuming Glimmer is the one that's based on her OC, her Dungeons and Dragons character.
Ever, Todd, you do not have to do that.
I'm so making a t-shirt of this.
$1.50, thank you so much. So this is, we're living in a, oh, hey, Aaron's on. We are living in a real-life Handmaid's Tale. Geeky.
That's what they keep saying.
I
never watch Handmaid's Tale, to be honest. I need to, but honestly, I don't watch it because I'm like, that looks like a bunch of depressing, and
it is depressing.
I just like,
depressing.
I have enough depression on a daily basis. I don't need to go make myself sad about more things.
Well, your name is going to be of Neon from here on out. Because I own you.
Okay, then I vote your name should be of Geeky. Because we all know I own you. Okay, go ahead.
Oh, hey, Custom Songmaker. Thank you so much. Raina Telgemeier can only sell webcomics to 8-year-olds who are pressured to buy at school from catalogs where they can't see.
I'm not going to disagree with that.
Look, Scholastic is, let me just put it to you this way.
That's another podcast.
That's a whole nother.
Or another show, but yeah.
That's a whole nother show. Scholastic is incredibly good at marketing to the demographic they want to market to, and marketing more so than the kids. They market to the parents, they market to the teachers, and they market to the librarians. It works for them. I mean, they rake in the money.
But kids, people are like, the show's going to fail. And I'm like, I don't know. And I'll tell you why. Because same reason why Rantala Meyer sells so many books in Scholastic is because kids are going to buy and they're going to like what you give them to like.
Right.
And that's what they're going to spend their money on. That's what they're going to buy. So if they're watching Netflix and that's what they're given, they're going to like it. Probably because that's what they're given. Same with the Scholastic books. And I got to tell you, She-Ra's going to have a bunch of Scholastic books too. It's been confirmed. So
Scholastic will publish anything. They publish all kinds of, they have Minecraft books and everything else. What the thing is with the, and Geeky's right with She-Ra, like they're going to promote the hell out of it. Probably you're going to log into Netflix and the first thing you're going to see, regardless of your profile choice, is a big trailer for She-Ra on the day it launches. And your kids are going to be like, oh, a new cartoon. And they're going to watch it. I mean, that's just the way it is.
Back to the Rantala. Our daughter loves Rantala Meyer. She loves it. She's like, I'm sorry, Mom. I'm like, it's okay. Because I always say the same thing, which is it's kind of like, she got there because she worked for Scholastic, and Scholastic is good. It dominates Scholastic with the book fair. I run the book fairs at the schools a lot of times, and that's just the way it is. I like Arent. Doesn't Geeky know human history began in 2016? Dang it.
Yeah, pretty much. I mean, that seems to be the case now. Like, it seems like everybody's like, I don't know. It's crazy.
Yeah, the old Goosebumps books. Yeah, they appeal to everybody. I agree with you. My kids love them. They still read them. Actually, we're going to go see the new Goosebumps movie on Thursday. But our daughter, if she has a choice, she picks Goosebumps. That's what she picks.
Yeah. I mean, as far as let's see, what do we go here? Scholastic push. She-Ra's actually going to have more than one season. But the thing is, with Netflix's seasons, like 6 episodes, 9 episodes.
Emma, Victorian Romance is based on a manga. Okay, you know what? I'm going to have to go back that because that sounds like something I would love. That's a Kickstarter, still ongoing. I might have to check that out, Emma. I'm gonna write that down. I gotta check that out because that sounds like something I would like.
Emma, okay.
That sounds very much like something I would like.
Definitely.
Yeah, and then She-Ra's 8 foot tall. Yeah, something else. If She-Ra's 8 foot tall, why does she still look like a little kid? If she got 8 foot tall and turned this large woman, wouldn't she be large in general? Why does she go more boyish when she turns into a large woman?
I don't know. I just kept thinking. You mentioned that you remember the old Popeye, the Popeye live action movie, but he's large. She's large.
You're like, what? If you love 90s animated ladies that kick butt, then you'll love Knucklebomb. We'll have to start checking all these out.
Have to check. I seriously.
Okay, I gotta read this.
We need to get like a slush fund and like back all, because there's like 40 different projects out there right now I want to back, and I'm like 40 times 25 is a lot of money.
And we don't have that much money. We don't get paid that much.
Nerd Wonder, what you're missing is.
Don't you know, Nerd Wonder, that women have not been in leadership roles until recently.
Never in animation or comics have women been in leadership roles.
Now that Noelle Stevenson's there, we got that covered because she's going to make sure it changes. So
Noelle Stevenson is she's out doing it now after New York Comic Con apparently.
Oh, somebody in the Discord posted this for me to watch.
There are a couple videos.
I only got halfway through it and then I had to turn it off because it hurt too much.
But she did a couple of videos. Now
these are interviews.
These are interviews.
Now I want to point out, yesterday when someone sent this to me like a day ago, it was there's only gone up maybe 50 views maybe in a whole day, maybe. Okay.
Yeah. So and we're not going to run the whole video. Obviously, we learned our lesson before. But these are coming from independent channels, and she's doing interviews.
Well, this is where she talks very much about how she wants to make sure that the marginalized people like her, that I mentioned like her, it's all about her, are represented. Do you have the subtitles for turn?
I think I have the subtitles on. Hold on.
Okay. They're talking about his two dads. As two dads. Oh, this is going to be fun. Let's work on the subtitles. Let's go see what they say.
As two dad.
And then she starts talking about.
This is something that's obviously really close to my heart. I am a gay woman.
Yes, I mentioned I'm a gay woman, and it's about what's close to my heart.
Is really personal to me and is really important.
Okay,
to me. It's something that this show is about relationships, and it's about friendships.
Which is cool,
it's about
right?
family.
Friendships are
it's
good.
about romantic relationships at times. All of those are given sort of
romantic relationships.
Because a friendship can be as powerful as a romantic relationship, as a family relationship. All of those relationships are explored very thoroughly in the show. It is very important to me to include representation and to make LGBTQ viewers feel very safe and protected.
You got to make sure the viewers are all safe. I mean, the children, the target. I thought the target demographic was little girls.
Little girls, yeah. No, this is. I mean, we said before. Like, I mean, look. At least call it what it is. The shows like this are made for adults who still want to be kids. A lot of them. And they're made for Tumblr. To
she's basically saying this show is made with representation for her. Representation. At the end of the day, it's representation for her. Which there's nothing wrong with that as long as you're honest about it. But this show basically is a giant representation for herself. That's what it is.
Okay,
which is fine as long as you're honest about it. But
I
thought it wasn't for me because it was for kids.
Stories that are important to me and that I hope are important to other viewers,
People
while
like me.
dodging pitfalls that can be upsetting.
We don't want to upset anybody.
No, yeah, we can't deal with that. These new women in leadership roles.
They can't deal with being upset.
We don't want to give them too much right now because women are new to leadership. So women are new to leadership. So keep going. We don't want to give them too much because they can't handle it.
Harmful to certain viewers who are marginalized.
Oh, marginalized. I want to talk about this for a moment because this is what irritates me. Certain viewers who are marginalized. Let's talk about marginalized people. So on our Discord and on people on here, and like the last video we did with Arent where they said, type a 1 if you're not, straight, white, and male.
Oh my God,
this whole thing is what's making me mad. It's making me mad for people that are not straight, white, and male because they keep blaming everything on, and it makes me mad for men too. So what if you're a straight guy? So what if you liked Shira? Mostly if you were kids when Shira came out, you probably weren't thinking that way anyway. And if you were, who flipping cares? But like people that are marginalized, that because people that are not white, are not male, are not straight, or whatever. These people they're all speaking out against it as well, but they are always ignored. So you're not even marginalized first time, you're marginalized the second time, and she's going about marginalized people. No, what she means is marginalized people that are marginalized in the way she deems marginalized. People like herself. So anybody else who's marginalized, and then a lot of people comment too about the fact that they almost feel like the representation in quotes is very stereotyped. Yeah. Like the ice girl has to be Eskimo. And I know people are commenting, there was a whole thing on the Discord about Bo's hair and how stereotyped that is. And it is, it's like they're just inserting weak ass stereotypes for everybody else. And then they're saying, but we're trying to represent people who are marginalized. As they marginalize people further who are marginalized.
Yeah, and they're like, I don't know. I mean, I don't know. It just seemed like they're it's like basically you're reduced to,
So what she means by this,
demographic.
What she means by this is people like herself. Point. And you know what? If she's, there are people like her who are, I'm sure they do run into trouble. I'm not saying they don't. And I'm sure you feel marginalized sometimes. And that sucks. I know how that feels. And I'm sure she's telling the truth that it happens. But if you're truly trying to deal with marginalized people, then you listen to people. You don't just blame it all on pigeonhole into one thing that it's white guys who are ruining everything, because that's a cheap ass weak way out. You say I understand people, all different people don't like it, and you dress that. You don't just blame everything on straight guys. And my next thing is, so what? Straight guys like it because she had boobs. So what? I'm sure there was a lot of lesbian women who liked her because she was hot. Heck, I was a little girl when it was on. Had I been older, I would have been like, damn, she's hot. I don't know. You're smiling. You're like, who knows?
I had no idea, Kiki. I had no idea. I have no idea.
And I loved Wonder Woman too, so I guess I apparently have a type. Wonder Woman and She-Ra are my thing. And Gem. So apparently I have a type here. But it's just you should see his face.
I don't know what to say when your wife comes out in the show.
Okay, if I was going to go that way, Wonder Woman and She-Ra would be totally up my alley.
Okay,
but
Xena?
it's only there you
Xena?
go. Oh, Xena was I don't know. I didn't really like Xena
She's
so
a little
much.
too
I like the show, but she wasn't really my type. Apparently like the more like the pink blonde girls, a little bit more. But I'm just saying, like this whole pigeonholing. She's adventure too. She's she's all those things. Fashion and fame as well.
She's also very mean to Rio. I mean, she's
we're gonna take a side. We're gonna take a side detour for a minute.
Rio
is a dick. Let's talk about Rio for a moment. And no, this is Shira, but let's talk about what a dick Rio is. So Rio is trying to get with both Gem and Jericho at the same time, not knowing it's the same person. And what kind of you want to talk about weak ass females? Why the hell is Gem putting up with it? Because if it would be me and I knew like you were trying to get with me as two different people, I would not be happy with you, and I'd be like, "There's a door. Here's my boot. It's gonna leave a print on your ass, so bend over."
Do you like pina coladas?
Being caught in the rain.
And being caught in the rain.
I'm just like, I'm sorry, I had to take a side tour because Rio
makes
me so mad. Rio makes me so mad.
No, I'm gonna come up with a profile pic. I'm gonna be like a pink armored Wonder Woman type and be like, "Hey, Geeky," and we're gonna chat it up. And
tell you what.
Then you're gonna open the door. It's gonna be like, "Oh my God, it's neon." You'd be like, "Oh my God, it's neon." Then you'd be like, "Oh my God."
You can wear the She-Ra outfit. I will totally be down either way. But I'm just saying, like the whole blaming it on men only and straight men. White men, it's just ridiculous. It's not fair to the men because some men, I mean, a lot of men like it because they like it. It's not fair to everybody else to marginalizing. I'm sorry to go off on this, but I just get so mad because I see so many people commenting and they're so upset because their representation is stereotyped. And then, you know, when they say, I don't like it, like you're already marginalized one time. And then the people going on about marginalization are marginalizing you again. It's like a double slap. And I feel for people like that because
somebody said in the comments, and I didn't catch it, but they said that it's basically they feel like sometimes they're like pets of these like white women.
Yeah,
like,
and
that sucks.
And I hate to say it.
It's like, oh my god, that's horrible, but that sucks.
Joking, is there like a point system? Like, you know, how many points you get for different things? Because from where I'm sitting, it seems like if you're a woman and you're a light-skinned woman, and especially if you are a light-skinned woman that's more LGBTQ or that area, that you seem to have more power than anybody. It just seems like that way to me. Like I already have points because I'm a light skinned woman, but I don't have enough points because I'm a straight woman. I hate to say it, but that's the way it seems. Purse puppies, that's a term I learned recently because you use that term a lot.
I don't use it a lot, but I've heard it thrown around. Okay, so
not about this, about something completely unrelated.
Are we gonna continue with this?
I'm sorry. That was
they're in like the cafeteria or something. I
don't know what they're in. A room.
And also, like when I revealed that, it was so funny because I wasn't even thinking about it. That it wasn't like news. Like,
yeah, exactly.
In my mind, the characters which you'll meet, and I won't say anything more about. Oh my god, but they are so funny and nuanced and interesting. So I was just thinking of like who Bo becomes around them, and that's why I love them. Not necessarily because of their...
It's a world where it's like, you know, it's all very normal. And it's all very... It's just a, like... It's...
No, it's a theory. It's not supposed to be normal. Oh, no, you mean normal, like, okay. I thought, I was like, wait a second. I don't want to see, I mean, it's like, then we're going down the road with Rainbow Bright, where it's like Rainbow Bright in the suburbs. You know,
no,
like,
kind of did.
Theory. No, that's what I'm saying. It was like, the entire issue of Rainbow Bright takes place in the suburbs. I'm like, who wants to read this?
It's a world with gender dynamics and that we don't...
Gender dynamics, okay,
Wait, it's a world with gender dynamics.
Wait, it's hard to hear because I'm actually hearing what she's saying. You're reading the subtitles. I don't think that's what's matching what she's saying.
No, that's what she said. It's a world with gender dynamics, and we don't see that in real life.
Want to bet?
I don't know. I think we see a lot of gender dynamics now.
But it frees up a lot. It frees up a lot to play with, and DreamWorks has honestly been really supportive, and I'm really excited. I don't want to spoil anything. I'm really excited for
I've done enough of that
to see it. Yeah.
She looks really uncomfortable. She always looks uncomfortable in interviews. She might not.
But she might just be shy because I'm shy too. So I mean, I'm not gonna fault her for that.
No. I've never really seen before, and it's a reboot of a spin-off.
It's a reboot?
The spin-off as the original.
No, isn't there just something? Their thing is like 1,000 years later.
Name drop the word Eternia. So what I'm wondering is, without spoiling future seasons and all that, does DreamWorks have the rights to the entire Eternia canon?
No.
Okay.
It is a little bit of a balancing act.
That's
it is something that we sort of have to...
I'm going to pause this. Okay, so if you guys didn't hear that, what the interviewer was asking is, does DreamWorks have the rights to the entire Eternia pantheon of characters? He-Man, basically. Right. He-Man related characters. The answer is no. So this is kind of similar to how, like in comics, a lot of times comics publishers will license a group of characters, but they don't have the rights to the whole characters. It might explain why we're seeing Hordak, and only Hordak and Horde Troopers, but we're not seeing Leech, we're not seeing Montana, Grizzlor, or any of the other Horde characters, because they might be considered He-Man characters.
Right.
And Hordak, the only reason he's considered Shira is because he was like the main
nemesis.
And also,
I don't know if they've mentioned it yet, but I saw this earlier, and basically what it's kind of talking about is like 1,000 years later. It almost sounds like they're setting this 1,000 years later, so the characters in the She-Ra universe are trying to learn about what Eternia was, and like what the lore of it. She goes on about the lore here in a minute, but they're talking about like it's 1,000 years later, and I think they're trying to, like, the sword and stuff is there for a reason, and they're trying to tie it to He-Man without using He-Man, and they're like making it like like Etheria was what was there before Eternia was. It's kind of what it sounds like.
It's kind of a weird. I mean, it seems like they're trying to sidestep the whole like, okay, well, we can't show He-Man because it was in the past or something. Or somebody said Hordak looks pretty beast. Actually, I do like the design of Hordak. I will go out and say I do like the design of Hordak.
And they can win me over with one thing. Y'all know what it is.
Brushable hair.
That's right. If he has brushable hair, Hordak, I will buy the toy.
Nothing I love more than privileged 24-year-old millennial telling me about real life.
Yep.
Yeah.
Navigate.
We
have access to certain things and not others.
He'll be bitter
but
too.
One of my
No,
favorite
I'm
things
not
about
against
the
people
Masters
being
of the
excited
Universe
about
world
life and
is-
happy about things. I mean, I'd be excited too if I was going to do this, but I would be
yeah.
careful. I would make sure I went,
Don't
I'd
piss on
stay
the
to-
old fans.
I'd stay to the source material. Yeah.
I mean, the show was off the air like 10 years before she was born, almost. I mean, it's like,
I know.
it's kind of hard to, like, it doesn't mean as, I mean, I'm not trying to be a dick, but it doesn't mean as much
But you're
to
a
you.
white man, so.
I am. I am. So, but I'm just going to say, it doesn't mean as much to these people who are rebooting. Same with Thundercats. Same with the guy who's rebooting.
Why do you call him Man Bun?
Man Bun. Same with, I don't know his name. Man Bun. Same with Man Bun rebooting Thundercats. Like, you did not grow up with this show. This doesn't really mean anything to your generation. This is just another.
No,
like,
it's just
IP
a
for
name.
you.
It's a vehicle. It's a vehicle to use to promote your personal OCs, your personal ideals, what matters to you. And like I said, people have mentioned many times, if you're going to hire to write a character, you should stay true to the character, not make it your version of the character. But that people don't seem to understand this. Go ahead.
Okay, Man Hordak. Oh God, what would that be? Okay.
The lore and is how broad it is, and so much of the show is setting it up as almost like setting up the original shows as the mythology of this world. So these characters, it's like, the setting is that it's been 1,000 years.
Okay.
And they've sort of been on this world that's regrown from this ancient civilization. They still have remnants around ruins. That's where the sword came from.
Eternia is ancient
and they're trying to piece
So is
together
Etheria
the who
Eternia
these
1,000
people
years
were.
later?
That's what I'm thinking. That's what it sounds
What is
like.
Grayskull,
So He-Man
Yeah,
screwed
what
up
is Eternia?
and-
What is
It's almost like a
Grayskull?
mystery.
They have to solve this
And
mystery
so that's been
along
really
the way.
exciting to sort of develop it as the lore of
I think
our
I stopped
show
watching
and
about
then
here
get
because
into
it
that,
made me
I love lore.
too much, and I was like,
She
I
loves
don't.
lore. So this is kind of like I'm kind of, this is interesting because this is almost like Mattel or DreamWorks is kind of telling her like, yeah, and this is gonna make Geeky mad, and this did make Geeky mad. Like, yeah, you can have She-Ra, but we don't want you touching He-Man because He-Man's our cash cow. We don't want you touching He-Man. Just you stay in this little bubble over here, and you can do your thing with She-Ra, but don't touch He-Man. We got big plans for He-Man and all that. Clownfish TV again. What the EF bomb? He-Man was before She-Ra, yes. In this version, apparently he is. No, he wasn't. Eternia is a different planet. Yes, it sounds like they're going to make
In this
Eternia
version, that's what
and
they're doing. That's what it sounds
Grayskull
like.
the past, so they don't have to have the brother-sister thing going on. So they don't.
Well, I think it's a matter of she's not allowed. And people who are fans of He-Man and Masters of the Universe, I would be happy about this if I were you, because they aren't going to do what they're doing to She-Ra.
Oh my God, this would be epic. Knowing that her final enemy will be a reanimated version of old She-Ra. Yeah, Melendy Britt will come in and kick new She-Ra's ass.
I'd pay for
Step
that.
on her throat with her high-heeled boots.
No, of course, because her version's going to be that new She-Ra's going to, with her power of friendship. Because again, they're using the whole damn power of friendship. What show today is not using the whole damn power of friendship?
I know,
My Little Pony,
yeah, I know.
Adventure Time. That the ending was we all sing and we defeat the bad guy. Steven Universe. It's like this whole. Did we mention that we're not? Leadership is a group think. It's a group think. It's a group think. It's a group think. And I agree that sometimes working in a group is a great thing, and I think it's great. But I don't think it's how everything is. Go ahead.
DCV Titan, thank you so much. She loves lore because it's so full and bountiful. It's her favorite thing to wipe with.
I'm sorry, that's funny.
Somebody passed the Charmin. Somebody passed the Grayskull. So apparently they're not going to touch He-Man. So those of you who are worried about how I was worried they would turn He-Man into some really ineffectual, schlub, and they're not going to go there.
The power of friendship was communism. I hate to say it, but I'm seeing more and more tweets from the similar people about communism and stuff like that lately.
Power of friendship is that we all think alike, we all talk alike, we all...
Right. And that's not going to work for me because I've never played into that whole group think thing. It's just not, I guess I'm just a loner, not a joiner. Go ahead.
Yeah,
anyway.
Well, then we're loners together. Okay.
I just love it.
Are some of the characters from Filmation are embargoed that you can't use? Or
Okay, they're asking if some of the characters from Filmation are embargoed. Probably.
Yeah, the answer is yes.
all of them?
Yeah, there are some that we can't use. There are some that are the property of He-Man. There are just certain things we can't use. And sometimes, we try our best and then they're like, no, maybe not. But also, Mattel's been an amazing partner to work with. They've been so supportive.
Yes, here, Mattel.
Okay.
I was going to bring this up.
Let's bring this up. But no, go ahead.
No, go ahead. You can go ahead.
No, I was waiting for you to bring it up.
No, Mattel. They're talking about Mattel being supportive, and one, am like, why Mattel? And two, it's like, okay. I think the person that was in charge of Mattel prior, the one that was running the company into the gutter, was why they brought somebody else in to take over.
The one they fired? The previous
one they
CEO.
fired.
Yes, they fired her.
Was very on board with these kind of projects. And I think that that's what they're referring to. But supposedly they're claiming Mattel is, supportive and on board with all this.
Which is really interesting because Mattel has been completely... I mean, I don't know the inner workings, but I do know that Mattel is trying very hard to get the film rights back. They want to bring all this stuff back, and they're looking at producing their own toys, not of the new show, but of the classic She-Ra. Okay, and that's...
Please,
yeah, that would be amazing if they did.
Do that, because they have brushable flipping hair. Go ahead.
But the fact that Mattel is not producing... And we mentioned this before. We mentioned it when we had Arent on. That Mattel is not producing toys for this... that Super 7 is producing them in very, very small numbers, and only She-Ra and Catra.
I haven't looked it up. But somebody was saying, and I did verify this. Do not take this as fact, because I don't know how to verify this. That supposedly that Super 7 did do a small run at the request of Mattel for New York Comic Con, but they don't have plans to make more. They don't want to make more. But again, I have to go look that one up because that's just someone said that and I'm not sure. I can't confirm that one. I haven't seen that myself to confirm it.
I mean, this clearly they're not going to push this one. This is not like a major toy line for them. This is like they're just kind of doing it to throw it on Netflix, I guess. Let me tell you about Scott Pickering. Let me tell you about that guy's man bun. It's stupid. I've seen better top knots worn by Japanese show. I've seen their flipping wigs. It's cultural appropriation. Yeah, he looks like kind of like a troll doll. It's not even a proper man bun. It's just sort of like, little tough.
I don't like troll dolls. Hair. Troll dolls scared me. They especially the old troll dolls. They were possessed or something. They were freaky. Anyway.
Yeah. Last Airbender we have her. I don't know how that's gonna go. So, but anyway, the Mattel thing. Like, I don't know what to think because it just sounds like. I mean, my personal opinion. Based on what I'm seeing is I think Mattel probably greenlit it under one regime and then the new regime came in. They're just like, yeah, we're not making toys for this.
I love this, Elvic. It's for kids. Kids love buying Super 7 collectibles for kids. Yes. And that's what they keep saying. That it's not for you, it's for kids. It's not for you, it's for kids. I'm making this for marginalized people. I thought you said it was for kids.
I don't hear anything about kids in here. All I'm hearing is this is the show I want for me, myself, and I and my friends.
And we're going to talk about female kids, and women that need to know how they can be female leaders because female leadership roles in animation and comics did not exist prior to the She-Ra, this incarnation of She-Ra.
Didn't exist.
Honestly, that's why I'm mad today. And it's not.
None of these people exist.
I'm not only going to blame it on her because she's not the only person I've heard this from. So I'm not going to put this solely on Stevenson on this one because it's not just her. I've heard this several places, and I'm always like, what the hell? There's something called Google. Use it. I'm like, you find how bullshit that is in like 2 seconds. I'm just saying.
Alexa, who was She-Ra?
Yeah, you're just like
oh my god, I'm gonna pitch that. Okay.
Oh my god, like I had the toys and I don't know what they are. I think the purple one was like Glimmer or something. And I need to
But she's problematic because she's too pretty.
And you know what? I was thinking about toys today and I remember my sister had Glimmer and she had Shayna and they both had purple hair and I'm like, I wonder if that was the thing with purple hair. But they're like, they're too skinny and they're too pretty and they make me feel bad about myself.
Yeah,
most people did not feel bad about themselves of our cartoon.
Oh my god, I love this. Clownfish is easy. Just wait 10 years and reboot Steven Universe yourselves. Yeah,
we joked about that.
We're gonna have like older alcoholic Steven Universe who has seen some shit. I mean, he's seen women merge with other women and form bigger women.
That's true.
It's freaking, and he is his own mother. I mean, what the hell? Can you imagine the emotional scarring that kid?
Can you imagine, like, the psychiatrist and like, 50, 100 years ago, what they'd be doing right now? They would just be like, oh my god, I can't even.
So tell me about your mother. I am my fucking mother.
It's like, I know we all feel like we're our mothers. No, I'm literally my mother.
Oh god. And sometimes I combine with this girl and I'm a girl.
But it's not in the fun way. It's just, I'm always a girl. I'm a boy, but yet I'm always a woman. I don't understand why. Because it's not okay to be a boy. Boys are not, you're allowed to be a boy. That's against everything if you're a boy.
Okay, so let's go back here. So Mattel's supportive. I don't know if I quite believe that.
Really, we
but they can't say that they hate him.
Mattel hates us.
But we have our very own specific sandbox to play in.
Okay, see, this is called quarantining You've been quarantined. We have our very own specific sandbox.
Letterbox. Oh, I mean sandbox.
No, they're quarantined.
No,
They're basically
never mind.
the translation. No, I'm look. Yeah, right. Catches letterbox. There's irritation. Okay, so what I'm telling you is Mattel is like, stay the hell away from the stuff that makes money. You can play with She-Ra. You can
Which
set
makes
it
me upset. So you're gonna ruin something. Don't make it be She-Ra.
Yeah.
Okay, Geeky Steven Universe and Stars versus Force either run by women, right? And here's the thing: Steven Universe is done by women, and everybody's trying to replicate Steven Universe done by women, and that's been out for a couple years now. But women are just now taking leadership roles and making a difference. Now that she's here, we're so glad to know that now that She-Ra's coming back, we're gonna see how women in power can actually be, because there haven't been any.
Because there've never been
at
women.
all.
Ever.
It's
Okay, let's see here.
From comics to animation, and how is that collaboration different in cinema?
What's it like moving from comics to animation?
Comics is like, I love comics. I love the stories that you can tell with comics. I love as a visual medium. It is, even when you're working with a team, you tend to be a little more isolated from each other, and you can do it all yourself if you really want to, and if you hate your hand enough and want it to fall off.
That's true.
So like my first story that I published was Nimona, and I did everything on it.
Can we talk about this for a minute?
I wrote it.
Ironically, we went to the library, and they have a copy of Nimona at the library, and it's been there for a while, and it looks like it hasn't even been opened. Am I wrong?
No, I wasn't gonna bring it up. But yeah,
I'm just saying.
Okay.
I'm just saying.
Okay. I wrote it, I eat it, and I colored it. I love these.
I like it.
Yeah,
I like
you know,
it. They were fun.
and it was a story that was true to me.
That was true to you, yes. Again, you.
Now I work with a crew. I work with actors. I work with
what
board
to do.
artists and designers and writers and technicians and editors and all of these people who do a different part of the job. So much of my job is about supporting them and giving them a platform to tell the story that they are passionate about. And so it's in so many ways just so different, but it's so rewarding. I really love
it. Is very different. I'll give her that. I'm not gonna slam her on things she's saying that's legit.
No. That's
I won't do that.
That's fine. I in general don't like the attitude that like we're the pioneers. And this actually in the other video I think it comes through a little more, that kind of like we're fixing all the problems that the old show had, because it was like, oh my god, it was just like so.
I'm sorry, she's looking into my soul right now. Anyway,
collaboration.
She knows you're watching her.
What were you gonna read? You were gonna read something.
Was I gonna read something?
I thought you had something highlighted. Trey.
Oh no, I did. Fierce Crimson Speedster, another female in charge, Hiroma Arakawa. There are some brainchild behind Full Metal Alchemist. The fact that this girl is saying there haven't been women in charge of projects before.
That's what I'm so mad about.
Yeah.
That's why I'm angry. I mean, I'm more angry about that than I am about the She-Ra reboot. But that tells something. Yes.
Arent, the interviews made me daydream. This is the thing that gets me about all of this. Again, the marketing behind. Look, I've done marketing. I've done PR work. The marketing behind the show is so off, it's not even funny, because they should be promoting the show. They should be just talking about the show and why the show to a general audience. Most shows, unless a person is a superstar, you shouldn't even know who's working on it.
Okay, for example, the Dragon Prince. They had people that worked on Avatar, and they mentioned that in passing, but and they mentioned some, but it wasn't like every article on the show was about what they said constantly. And it is, and the meaning, I don't know if there's if you grew up watching the Care Bears, and the one, I forget which one movie our son liked it. I forget which one it was, but they had the song that me.
Oh,
me,
the
Big
Wish movie. I actually remember that.
Was it Big Wish?
Yeah, they had Me Bear.
And all I think of every time they start speaking, all I keep thinking of is me. Go ahead.
And this is pretty much just the narcissism. But I think it's
my shirt should read brushable hair.
I actually think it is a generational thing, because I mean, you see so many comic book artists today, Tumblr artists, webcomic artists, whatever, animators, younger people. It's all about themselves. But then you look at, even again, looking at Rebecca Sugar with Steven Universe, she doesn't make it all about herself.
But they all want to copy her, and then they make it about themselves. Elvic also said Dragon Prince didn't shove his diverse cast down our throats either. It's just that, right? It spoke for itself.
It was very organic. Dragon Prince was very organic.
You didn't need to do it.
I liked it.
I agree. It's how you promote a show. I agree.
Yeah, and they came out afterwards with Dragon Prince. They said it was a conscious decision. We wanted to be diverse. We didn't want to shove it down people's throats. We just thought these characters made sense for them to exist in this world the way they did, and that was fine. Like, I didn't need an explanation. Now here it's like we're already getting on the defensive, because like now if you criticize the show, you're criticizing all LGBTQ people.
This is ridiculous.
You're criticizing women leading on shows. You're criticizing, and I hate when they do that. Just put the damn show out there. okay, and let it succeed or fail on its own merits. The same with comics. Like, but you shouldn't even know who's
It's a manipulation tactic. It's like
you should feel bad if you don't like it.
If you don't like it, you're a bad person, and you need to feel bad because you're a bad person. And and then blaming men for it. You know what, guys? You know what? Do not feel bad. I feel really bad for men, especially in this one, because they're like being blamed for everything. Do not feel bad. If you like She-Ra, you were allowed to. There was nothing wrong with you for liking that show. Yeah. I'm going to tell you right now, because they keep telling you there's something wrong with you. Clearly, if you don't like this, but you like that, there's nothing wrong with you for not liking, this version, but you like the old She-Ra. That's just a preference. There's nothing wrong with you. Anybody who doesn't like this version, there's nothing wrong with you. You don't like this version, you're allowed to have an opinion. People who like it, you know what? You're allowed to have that opinion too. I'm not going to bash you for liking it. You're allowed to like it. But there's the whole idea that the manipulation that there's something wrong with you if you don't agree is bullcrap. There's nothing wrong with you. It just, stop. I hate manipulation.
And, well, I mean, Melendy Britt, the original voice actress of Shira, she called shenanigans on the marketing behind the show. She basically said, why do you feel like you have to run down fans of the original show to make this show look better? And as a marketing guy, I'm like, this is almost like politics. Like, you have to make the other candidate look as bad as possible so you get the vote. And that's kind of what's going on here. They're using women, Brad says, they're using women LGBT as criticism shields. It's total emotional manipulation.
And it's not fair. It's not fair to people that are marginalized, especially the ones who don't like it. I mean, you're using these people, you're using the word marginalized to basically do a show about yourself, and then you're using it as a shield. And that's not fair. This is not fair.
No, it's not fair. It's not fair. It's not fair to it's really disingenuous. And I think they know the show is going to get a mixed reception, especially from classic fans. So they're preemptively, doing this to try to, make you feel bad.
Right.
Make you feel bad.
It's not right. You shouldn't have to feel bad.
Like these poor girls, these poor little girls.
I feel really bad
you feel really bad for them.
Straight white guys who don't like the new She-Ra, because if you don't, they make it out like there's something fundamentally wrong with you. Like you're some kind of pervert, you're some kind of pedophile, you're some kind of weirdo. Even if you just don't like the design, it had nothing to do with any kind of sexual. Why is the automatic assumption you're about sexual attraction to She-Ra? I'm like,
what's the first thing you go to? Like, that's the first thing you go to?
And that's what
like, of all the things, like, oh my gosh, just a bunch of guys who want to jack off to She-Ra. I'm like, I was like 7 when She-Ra came out. I'm just like, I just want her to look like She-Ra, and
apparently, the original She-Ra was all about power and, and all this other stuff. And unlike the new She-Ra, who's about, how you have to earn it and how, you have
to earn it, so it's handed to you and you just figure it out as you make it up as you go. Okay, so let's keep going here.
Identity thing, because I noticed She-Ra just revealed who she is.
Yeah, there is no secret identity.
Yeah, it was a little tricky to work with the secret identity, especially since in the original show, her closest friends didn't know that she was She-Ra, which was really hard because it'd be like, oh, Bo, wait here a second, and then She-Ra comes back and he's like, where did Adora go? She's like, she's fine, don't worry. But also they're just logistical things like, does Adora just carry She-Ra's sword around? Why does no one realize that it's She-Ra's sword?
Don't you feel like it also complicates the relationship in like a really good way? Because if your friend is like your friend and your peer, but also this like superhero, how does that change the power dynamic? Yeah. Like, how do you say, hey, I don't like what you did, when she can very easily transform into an 8-foot-tall, superhero? Yeah. So in a lot of ways,
so they're basically saying secret identities are bad because your friends need to be all up in your business and know every freaking thing you're doing, and it changes the power dynamic because they know that she can just turn into an 8-foot-tall woman.
So you can call your friend in to solve all your problems, so you don't have to deal with them yourself.
Pretty much.
And then plus the fact, so a lot of these
secret
superheroes,
identities are problematic.
Well, they have secret identities because they don't want their people they love or their friends to be in danger. Like if someone knows, okay, if I'm a secret superhero, and people find out about it, they're gonna go after you and my kids because they're gonna try to control me by using you. That's why people don't know. But anyway, we're gonna have to wrap this up soon because.
Well, yeah, but we got a whole other video to go through.
Well, we're not gonna go through it the whole time because we got Scouts, Girl Scout stuff coming up.
Well, here can we
storyline and human complication and
relationships. Let's skip ahead here.
I didn't see past those because I was like blah blah blah. I don't care.
Oh, here we go. A lot of diversity when you join DreamWorks.
This project, you were like, I can trust them completely. Is that true or not? Or were there some things that they kind of like were like, maybe not?
Yeah, I mean, it's always a dance. DreamWorks is my partner in this endeavor, so everything that I do has to be sanctioned by them.
That sounds like your boss, not partner.
In that.
Yeah.
Like, it has been.
Wait, pause for a minute. They're not my boss. They're my partner. I
know,
no longer work at Walmart. They're my partner.
This is the thing, though, too. And this happens with comics. That's not a good frame to pause on. This happens in comics, too, where a lot of these creators, I mean, she's basically saying they've been supportive, but they've told her no. I think to some things. I think she wanted to go places they did not want her to go. And this happens in comics, too, where you have a lot of freelancers that seem to think like, oh, yes, we're just besties, and we're just sort of, hanging. Me and DC Comics, me and Jim Lee, we're just kind of hanging together, and we'll just, me and Marvel, Joe Quesada is my buddy, even though I've never met him in person, we just kind of hang together, and
we're partners.
We're partners in making Spider-Man comics, and, I can do whatever the heck I want. But, sometimes he suggests that I don't do this, or suggests I leave Twitter, or suggests, no. DreamWorks is your employer. You're working on a character you do not own, and they're going to tell you what you can.
It can't be a sports bra. That implies there are breasts involved. Anyway, go ahead.
There are times at the show that I get weird, or I'm like, here's a joke that maybe I'm the only one who thinks it's funny, but I'm gonna run with it, and the fact that they have really let that weirdness shine, and
let the weirdness shine.
I feel like so often there's the temptation to kind of hammer her out so much that she sort of loses her texture and flavor.
What the hell does that even?
I don't know. So, where was this other part here we had?
Oh no! Oh yes.
This is another video. This one's a little more.
I won't. No, I will give her props on this one. I'll tell you why. Because she introduced herself, and she said that she was the executive producer of She-Ra, and then the voice actor goes, the creator, and she's like, no, I'm not the creator, and I will give her props for that.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna.
I'm Noelle Stevenson.
I'll give her props for that. I will.
She-Ra.
Creator.
Well, I mean, not originally, but this version, yes.
Version.
This
I'm Amy
version,
Carrero.
yes.
I play Adora /
She's not the creator, and she did not say she was. So I will give her complete props on that. I will give her that because she looked very comfortable too. I think when she said that.
I have to say, I think it's kind of a travesty that she hasn't come back sooner.
I think
She's
she watches
such an
our
exciting
videos.
character,
I
and
doubt
the world
it.
is so exciting. There are not that many sci-fi fantasy worlds where the cast is majority female. She-Ra was already
That's
pretty
not true either.
groundbreaking.
There's a lot of
and
pause
I
it. There's
think
a
it's
lot of them that
perfect
they cast were majority female.
Sailor Moon,
Rainbow Bright, Gem and the Holograms, Strawberry Shortcake, She-Ra. There's a lot of them. Yeah.
To bring her back. I am so excited to be able to tell these stories that I've always loved, the genre, the sci-fi, the fantasy, through a lens that you might not always see it through, which are these, flawed and complicated female characters.
Oh,
wait. Female characters aren't allowed to be flawed or complicated.
No. So you don't see a lens through these flawed and complicated female characters. Like her show, which is all about flawed and complicated female characters. Every other show out there were vapid characters who are perfect. I'm glad to know. Good to know. Oh, Slayers was a good one. I like Slayers.
Slayers was awesome, man.
Yeah, so I'm just like, don't you know that, because, Serena, she was not flawed or complicated at all. She was just perfect and, soggy Serena. She was just perfect.
She was totally perfect. There just seems to be just in general, and we're going to wrap it up here in a couple of minutes, but there just seems to be in general, just a lack of, and I don't know if it comes down to age or just
I think
protected.
I think it's about age, and it's about I think not because I'm being ageist, but because I think when it's what you go by what you know, kind of thing.
Yeah.
And when you don't have a lot to compare it to, and you're in an echo chamber where everybody tells you how wonderful you are, you're going to have a skewed view of what is what. And it's not, like I said, it's not just her saying this whole women leadership thing.
We're seeing this more and more creators, more and more cartoonists, comic book creators, artists.
But I'm saying this whole idea that the female leadership is new is not just with the Stevenson. I've seen it from several people, and I said it since the beginning of the video. I'm not going to just say it to her. I've heard it from several people that this whole idea that women have never been in power before, which is not true.
Yeah.
You get to play She-Ra. You get to play that titular character.
I know.
So
I don't want to play
all
those
the
videos.
other
Okay, here we go.
female characters and female superheroes and all those people in those positions of power? What makes her unique?
I think she really struggles with her power, and you get, it's not really a story about a powerful person, it's somebody's ascension to power, or like really learning how to be a leader, which has very little to do with power and so much more to do with sacrifice and loyalty and like doing the best.
One more thing before we go. Someone mentioned this on one of the things, either on a comment or on Discord, and I really liked it. I thought it was a good, it was a very good example. And they're saying the thing about She-Ra was kind, and she was a good friend, and she wanted to stop, you know, people from being bad, and she wanted to make change in the world. And it just so happened that she was pretty. It just so happened that, you know, she had those qualities that made her pretty or tall or whatever. But that wasn't who she was. The fact that she stayed, that she wasn't conceited, and that she wasn't, you know, about her beauty was what made her even more so, you know, a good character. I mean, because she could have been a conceited bitch, but she wasn't.
No, she wasn't.
She was, you know, all the things she's describing, original She-Ra was. And taking away the aspects of her from being pretty to make it somehow safer is ridiculous, because actually it was more to her credit that those she was happened to be pretty too. Those things were just, you know, her exterior matched her interior, and that's not always, you know what I'm saying, like you can be a nice person. You know what I mean?
No, that's right. Angel Chatter, real quick, will you guys check out my music channel? We actually did once. You listened to her videos, I think.
I did. I probably did. I don't know. I listen to a lot of things off and on. I try.
You know, I know you did, because I remember Angel Chatter. Yeah, we did. Oh, we did.
But I was going to say this too, and about the toys, real quick. I know we really have to go. About the toys, you know, they keep saying about, you know, about these characters have to be pretty. Why would you make a doll be pretty? Because little girls are going to look at dolls, and they're going to want to pick something that appeals to them. And if they see dolls that are ugly, they're not going to want those dolls that are ugly. And when I say ugly, I'm not talking about, you know, the color of the skin or whatever, because, like, you know, my daughter always gravitates to whatever she finds pretty about a doll.
Yeah.
And she has dolls of all different ethnicities because she thought that this one's hair was beautiful, or this one had beautiful skin color, or this one just seemed like a friendly person. And she picks what she relates to, what she's attracted to. And then you can be attracted to things and not have anything sexual about it. And I think that's what, you know, why dolls were pretty, was because you wanted to be more attractive to girls. You wanted to be like, I want to be like that. That's pretty. And She-Ra, she was pretty, but that wasn't who she was. And they keep making it out like what made her pretty was what made her She-Ra, and that is not the case.
No, and that's what Melendy Britt got so upset about. As the voice actress of She-Ra, she's like, you know, why are you making the show out to be something? Why are you making the fans out to be horrible people because they liked She-Ra? Why can't She-Ra be pretty? Why can't she be strong and pretty? You know, it's just so lame. But we're speaking of strong and pretty, Girl Scouts. We gotta get our daughter.
I have to take our daughter to Girl Scouts. Yeah, because we are all about Scouts, and I grew up in Scouts for years. I have the Gold Award in Girl Scouts, which is the highest award you can get.
Yeah.
And because we believe in girls doing good and empowerment of girls and women through service and helping others, and doing fun things and having friends and things like that, things that She-Ra would approve of. I don't need somebody else to tell me that you're too pretty to be a Girl Scout. What's wrong?
Oh no, Arent said, I once lost my dad's credit card and I only had a little cash. I had to decide between a sparkling water and avocado toast. It was my Vietnam. Oh my God, yeah. And in another generation where young men are going to war getting shot at and shot and killed at 17 years old. The biggest challenge a lot of the kids today have, or like what to watch on TV, what cereal to have when they're 25, get up in the morning and choose.
What cereal. I'm not going to say anything. I'm not going to say anything. I'm just saying, at the end of the day, you're allowed to be pretty and you're allowed to be kick-ass. You can be not as pretty and be kick-ass. And if a toy makes you feel bad about yourself, I don't know what to tell you, because there's a lot of us grew up with it and didn't make us feel bad about ourselves. It actually was more empowering for whatever reason. Just do good things and, be an example of what's good in the world, and stop. Yeah. And you know what? Stop this narrative bullshit of there haven't been strong female leads in yeah. Because it's bull. It's bull. And honestly, this video is more about that is what made me mad. More about anything else we're talking about.
It's disingenuous. I mean, I'm not saying that there's definitely room for more, but it's been going on for a while. So you need to be a little more self-aware, I think, a little more aware. Okay, so I guess we're going to wrap this one up. Kiki's got to get her daughter to actual
Girl Scouts. Yes, I do have to go to Girl Scouts.
With girls, but
no, actual Girl Scouts, because we do Girl Scouts, so.
All right, so thank you so much for watching. We had over 400 people on in the afternoon,
like
which
record.
is pretty cool. So subscribe to CLOWNFISH TV. We're gonna have more videos that are not She-Ra, and we'll talk
we
more
promise
about...
we'll do some other things.
Yeah, it's been a cornucopia, horn of plenty of She-Ra media this weekend.
We want to do more things of like creation things and helping you to create things that you to get more out there. That's independent and
independent, independent comics, independent animation. I think that's gonna be the future.
Cookie Cabal, I hate cookie sales.
All right, guys, thank you so much. Please subscribe to the channel. Ring the bell for notifications. Check, make sure that you've got that bell. Ring
the bell, people.
Ring
Just
the bell.
Ring the
ding, ding,
bell.
ding, ding. And check out our Discord. There's a link in the video below. You can join the Discord and talk to some other like-minded folks, and maybe have some conversation.
All right, we'll see you guys later.
We'll talk to you guys later.
Okay, bye, guys.
Bye.